Welcome to Free Flow, the Caribbean's best and biggest podcast. Let's get it.
Before the first episode, I had no nerves. So I'm not going to have nerves
Some at
on
episode
the
zero?
fourth. Yeah, episode zero, bro.
Okay.
I had no nerves, so it's not going to happen on episode 40 usually.
Yeah.
So
Maybe I feel like the guests could cause you nerves. Like maybe more important the guests or the more
Yeah.
revered the guests. It's like if you had John Compton there, okay, I
John
expect.
Compton. Well, honestly, if I had a ghost there, I would have a lot of nerves there.
People might think you're mad.
I just talking.
You just stop it. Title John Compton.
John
Speaks
Compton.
his mind.
A Ouija board. That's it.
Yeah.
But the guests, I cannot think of a guest that I've had so far that maybe a little nervous, just because you want to create the best impression that you can under the circumstance, because people come here, obviously it's a small setup, I don't have no big setup to talk about.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Inshallah.
I don't have the big setup to talk about yet, but just try to give the best impression. People don't do, I don't want people to come there and think that's what kind of questions they're asking me.
Have you had that before? In the sense of you have a guest and you feel like they're not feeling the vibe of what you're trying to bring, the interactions.
I think it's been the opposite.
It's been the opposite.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I've had guests here. One in particular that I can remember, I just wasn't feeling the vibe.
Is it from the jump, off rip, or 40 minutes into a conversation?
Even before the interview, even before it started, even while I was in conversation with them, it's just that I kind of wanted to have them on, and the conversation, in my opinion, wasn't all that. Now, it could have just been just my interpretation of everything that was happening. I was honestly, if we had more of a chemistry, it could have been better.
I feel like the chemistry is important.
It's important, but I've gotten reviews from that episode, and people were they like the episode.
That's the thing, because you're, as the host, it's hard for you to put yourself in the seat of the viewer. It's hard to be both. So it's you can't be too hard on yourself, but at the same time, you know what you want to produce.
I try to do it though. I try to do it because I think it's important. It is important.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I started off really trying to do it how I would want it, or how I would like to see it, or what I would like. And I think that's important too, because you want to kind of be authentic.
It is a representation of you.
It is a representation.
Of you in it,
but at the same time, you're supposed to kind of do things for the masses, in a sense, what would people want to hear and that kind of thing. So I've kind of been trying to adjust into doing that more, trying to think of, okay, what would the people want? What would the people like to see? What do they respond more to, in terms of interaction, likes, views, so that kind of thing.
You're saying now that has that has changed your questions, or influenced the way you go about things now?
The way I do content, the way I don't know if you've realized, there's been a few subtle changes in the way I create content, the techniques and stuff.
Yeah. Something as simple as the hook, the thumbnails as well. I like the new thumbnails, by the way. I do.
Bro, it needed to change.
I feel like the algorithm likes it as well.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's good. I like them too. I like it too. It needed to change. Let me tell you, you see, when you're doing everything by yourself, I do everything. There's nothing that I don't do for this podcast. Everything that you see, I'm the one doing it. So some things will suffer when you,
of course,
because you're only one person.
You're only one person.
I do the thumbnail, I do the editing, I do the shooting, I get the guests, I do the research, I make the questions, I do every single thing. So I think the most important thing for me at the time, when I just started, was obviously I just started, but when I just started.
It's been some time now, though.
It's almost a year.
Almost a year when you're in episode 40.
Yeah. So that's I think last time I checked it was about 8 months. So maybe it's 10 months now. Just now. Let me try and get there. February.
2026, February.
Yeah, I think it's 10 months. Not 10, but probably 9 months. Probably
Okay,
9 months.
I'll do something to celebrate that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe a sick episode or
Something different.
yeah, something different.
different on the year that marks the year of.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I was saying is when I just started, the focus was trying to get the podcast in a position, like in a position where I'm comfortable moving to something else. So, for example, like the quality of the questions that I'm asking, just my rhythm when it comes to getting people, having a backlog of episodes, just 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 getting my catching my foot and catching my hand and getting a rhythm when it comes to these things. That was my focus when I just started.
So you would have had like a list that you wanted to go
Yeah,
for.
I had a list of probably like 20 people that I wanted to take, and just getting them beforehand, try and get 5 people booked beforehand, shoot 5 episodes before I even post the first episode, all that kind of thing. I wanted to get my rhythm first, and then I could move on to other things like the thumbnail and that. So
Yeah.
and even the logo, like I just created a logo just because I'm the type of person I just like to start. Okay,
Yeah,
I like to
definitely.
execute. I like to start
That is
messy.
the secret. You just need to start.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like to start messy and then just fix things along the way. So I just started. I just make any logo, and the thumbnail I just tried any thumbnail, and then I'm like, okay, I'm at a point where I'm comfortable enough. I can work on my logo. So I started working on my logo. I started. Yeah, I don't know if you realize I changed my logo.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so I changed my logo. One was your logo and give you reviews on how you think the logo looks on social media, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, Instagram and TikTok.
YouTube as well, the comments.
Well, yeah, YouTube. Well, obviously YouTube. That's where you're going to give your your feedback. but yeah, I changed the logo, the thumbnail changed, and just the content, as I said. Yeah. So but it's just because I'm comfortable now to focus more on other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it feel right now with you being the guest? This is the first time you're the guest.
I feel like I talk in so much, yo. like again, like one of the techniques a lot people probably not notice as the viewer is when you're the host speaking to a guest, it's different from just a regular conversation like the two of us just talking off camera. Because we would be speaking off camera and you'd be speaking to me like the way I'm speaking now, and you'd be saying yes, okay, yeah, that makes sense. When you're doing this while somebody's speaking, it's distracting to the viewer. So if you're speaking and I'm saying yes, okay, it's distracting because the person is actually trying to listen to what you're saying, and I keep speaking. I keep kind of interrupting you.
You want me to be honest with you? I'm struggling not to do it.
Yeah. So that's the thing though, because normally just to show the person that you're actually paying attention, you would do that. But in doing that, you actually distracting the person that's eavesdropping on our conversation right now. So, but that also like just kind of finishing people's sentences while they talk or that do it too. That kind of thing. Like I have to kind of stop myself and just let the person speak, So right now, just being the one speaking, I feel like I'm speaking so much.
Please don't get tired of it.
It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm speaking so much.
Okay.
Yeah. But hopefully, we're trying something a little bit different. Hopefully, you'll get to kind of know me a little bit better, see what my personality is, because, you'll see my personality, but we more speak to the guests, we speak to the high achievers, we speak to the people that have something to say. And right now, I guess it's kind of about me.
Yes.
It's kind of about me and the journey.
What I really want to focus on, like you said, is the journey, because I know one person that has ever done a podcast before, and that's you. That's you. So I have a lot of questions. I really want to pick your brain and try to understand, like, being a host, being the one-man army, trying to make this happen. Like, how that's been thus far, you know what I mean? So, my first question to you is, what made this happen in the first place? Why a podcast?
I don't know if it's an interesting story, but It's an interesting story. I started watching podcasts, I think, randomly. I like to learn, so I just like to. There was something someone told me years ago. I have a lot of random useless knowledge, but it's just because I like to learn. Like I like to just know things. So I used to just type a lot of things into YouTube, into Google, but mostly YouTube. And obviously you have your clickbaity kind of things, how to do this, or if you want to be there, do this or whatever. So I used to click on it and I used to get clips, like between 5 minutes and 15-minute clips of podcasts, but I didn't know it was podcasts. So I was like sometimes it was Joe Rogan, sometimes it was, you know, the early podcasters. I used to watch these things and I used to be like, but like, what is that? Because these people just there in a room talking. I had no concept of what a podcast was at the time, and I was like, what is that? So, you know, I ended up like just doing more research, like seeing what it actually was, and just going on the YouTube, the actual channel to see the other videos, and I was like, oh, that's like I didn't have the word podcast yet because I had no concept of what a podcast was, and there was this, I don't think the tab was there yet, but there was a title or something saying podcast. So I was like, okay. So one time I get the word podcast, so everything I search for now, I type in podcast.
Is included in
search. Podcast. And then, you know, I got to know Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was probably the first podcast I watched. And there's a guy called Andrew Huberman. He's a neuroscientist lecturer, that kind of thing. He speaks about the brain and dopamine and, you know, cortisol, basically everything to do with the brain and how it works, and your nervous system and all that. I discovered him. Then I discovered a few others.
So it's almost like you just went on this.
Yeah, I kind of went down the rabbit hole, but it was more for entertainment and my knowledge. That's what it started off as. There was also this podcast, I think it's the Breakfast Club. I don't know if it was categorized as a podcast yet with Charlemagne and all that. They used to bring the celebs and talk and thing, but all these things were just for entertainment. And I discovered Chits and Gigs, and that became like my all-time favorite podcast. And I was like, you know me already, I'm also a very impulsive person.
Yes,
so I will see something and I'll be like, I can do that. and then I will jump into the rabbit hole of actually,
like, how can I make this happen?
How can I make this happen? So I'll do research and I'll get obsessed about it. I did that with painting. I did that with drawing. I did that with streaming. I did that with so many things, you know. But then the podcast was different. I felt like I could truly do this and it could truly be something that I love. I saw a future in it, kind of. So I was like, you know what, let me put some real thought in and energy and time into that. So I did more research and I was like, yo, I can truly do this. And I did research. And when you see like so many successful podcasters / content creators and stuff, and you're like, bro, these people not doing anything I can't do. You know, I have a PC. I built a PC from scratch, and so like I have my PC. I have the basic knowledge of just computer literacy and editing literacy, you know, editing software, that kind of thing.
So do you remember the moment where you're like, okay, this is happening. I'm going to make this happen. I don't care how, but I will make it happen. Because here we are today.
I think it was last year. Because it's all fun in games until you actually make the first purchase, or you
actually do it.
Yeah, I remember taking a loan to buy a camera, and that's when I realized, okay, it's real.
Yeah, because you would have had to apply.
Yeah.
Once you get that money, you're like, okay, well, I have to do what I said.
Yeah, I have to do it now. There's no shortcut. There's no turning back. I literally bought a camera to take, not to do photography, not to do anything. I bought a camera. I'm not interested in photography, okay? I bought a camera to take my video for my podcast. Okay, so yeah, I think that was the time when I realized, okay, like, yeah, we're doing that. But yeah, I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and, you know, I decided, yeah, I'll do this. So I went I went to the credit union. I remember I was asking them for details on like because I never take a loan before.
So
I was
that
like,
is your first loan.
Yeah. So I was asking them details on like what I need to take a loan, and the girl tell me like how much is the loan. So I think I can't remember the exact amount, but it was about like $2,000, something like that. So she was like $2,000. Okay, like how much money you have in your credit union? Can't remember how much money, but it was like more than the $2,000. So she's like, you don't have to take a loan. You could just take like an over the counter loan, which basically means you can take what you would borrow on what you already have. So let's say you have $3,000, you could borrow up to $3,000. You could just ask them for free and they'll give it to you. Okay, I don't know if there's a limit to how much you could ask. So I don't know if you have 50,000 or if you could just ask for 50,000. But yeah, so I basically just said I want to do an over the counter loan and they just give me the cash and you're paying it back like a loan.
Of course.
Yeah, but you don't need to go through the whole application process and all that kind of thing.
So you have that cash in your hand, you're thinking like,
bro,
this is step one.
Yo,
right? I have the cash. I need the camera.
But I wasn't even thinking of it so in depth. I was more excited. So I was like it was more like a bit adrenaline based. Like I go there, I was like, okay, I done program already. I'm like, okay, the next first step is buying the camera. So I need to get a loan. Okay, so like I just in execution mode right now. So I went and take the loan. Obviously, take the money, go deposit it in the bank. As soon as I deposit the money, I went home. I went to order the thing like one time.
You did not let the day pass?
No, I didn't let like once because when you deposit the money, it depends on when you deposit the money. Sometimes you get the cash immediately, like to be able to use the cash, or sometimes it takes a few days. But I got the cash like probably like 2-3 hours later. So I deposit the money, get home. Like I kept checking my account to see like if the money landed because there's your current balance and your available balance. So I was checking the available balance to see if the money. From the time I see the available balance, go on Amazon, order that.
Now it sounds like you were like really excited. Like from you had the idea, you started executing immediately. I'm wondering, was there any fear? Like was there anything that you were afraid of? Maybe not when you got the camera, but just the first few steps, like was doubt flooding your mind? Did you start to doubt yourself? Like, let's talk about that for a second.
I feel like I've trained my mind over the years to not doubt myself, so I'm very dismissive of fear.
Okay.
So in the beginning, I'd never had a doubt in my mind. I never really had fear because again, as I said, over the years, like because I've had a business before, just running that alone, so I just depending on myself. And when you're depending on yourself, there's not really room for doubt.
That is true.
So just doing that and just doing things in general, attempting things you've never done before. I've kind of trained my mind to not doubt myself. So I've gone through this thing where you doubt yourself and you kind of just have to push through it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
But then I feel like I'm over it though. Like I don't really doubt myself anymore. I feel doubt now.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprising.
At this point, that's when I feel doubt. But it's very short-lived.
Like, it's something you can fight.
Yeah, it's like something I just try to ignore.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll tell you this, and that may seem crazy, yeah. This podcast is probably the first thing in my life that I've committed to.
Really?
I've never committed to anything else.
Committed meaning that you give your all.
Yeah, I give my all, and I decided beforehand, like after I bought the camera, but before I started the podcast, before I posted the first episode, because the camera purchase was a bit impulsive.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it was impulsive. But before I started the podcast itself, I sat down and I told myself, we are going to do this and we are not going to stop. Regardless of if we fail, regardless of if it never blows up, regardless of everything, we are going to start this and we are not going to stop. So this is my promise to myself. I am not going to stop this.
So there's this saying of burning the boats, right? So that let's say you get on this island and you want to stay on this island, live on this island, and you burn the boat so that you don't leave.
Yeah.
Have you burned the boat?
Yeah.
The boat
I
is
think
gone.
so. I think the boat is gone. And I burn in the boat even more because I say that in front of how many people.
Yes.
People like if I stop now, people just laugh at me,
Okay,
But yeah, I told myself this is the first thing I've committed to wholeheartedly, that I said that I'm not going to stop. So going back to what you were saying about doubt, when I feel that, because obviously this is hard. This is a full-time job by itself.
Yes, definitely.
So sometimes I sit down and I think of like, when you see things just not going your way and all that, you just sit down and you feel like, can I stop this? Like, should I just stop this? Am I actually going to make it?
So have you had a moment where you're like, damn, like I want to quit? I want to...
For like a split second.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm very quick to dismiss it. Okay. Because I can go down this rabbit hole of depression and sadness and doubt, and I've already made the promise of not stopping. So I can choose to go down the rabbit hole and not stop, or dismiss the thought and not stop. But
or how you not stopping.
Or how I'm not stopping. So it's better I just not put myself through all the depression,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of what you would be doing right now if you didn't start? Like, if you didn't commit, because it's been about, you said 8 months?
About 9 months.
About 9 months, right? So, in that 9 months, you don't think you'd be doing anything else?
I don't know.
Is there anything else you wanted to pursue that you kind of had to like sacrifice, like an opportunity cost type of thing, to say like, hey, screw X, Y, and Z, I want to do the podcast? Or was it just?
The thing is, I don't even know, because I was doing YouTube before this, like in terms of like, I used to make like content. I started with like jiu-jitsu content, like, that kind of thing. Then I started like self-help kind of content. But I liked it when I started, but it wasn't, I knew I wanted to create content, but I didn't know what kind of content I wanted to create. So I started with that, and I was like it's not in the direction I want it to be. So I kind of pivot to the podcast. I was like, okay, I think podcasting is what I really want to do. And I found out like, okay, that's actually what I want to do when I started. But as I said, I committed to this. I had a business. I stopped the business because of that. Because committing to that is more complicated than it sounds, because committing to this is money, committing to this is time, energy, attention, emotion, all that kind of thing. And when you run in a business,
you need that.
You have to think of, okay, how am I going to make money? Okay, what the next month going to look like? What promotions am I doing? All that kind of thing. You have to put forth. I have to be following up with clients. I have to be doing all that. So me committing to this means I needed to put all my energy and all my focus into this. So stopping the business is another sign of commitment to this, because I say, okay, I need a job so that I can not have to focus on how I'm going to make money. I can just get the money. So I actually got a full-time job to be able to focus on the podcast.
So you literally change your entire life to facilitate what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's the level of commitment I'm at right now. Okay. I had a business where, and you know me, you know the type of person I am. I hate 9 to 5s.
Yes. Cannot stress that enough.
I appreciate the 9 to 5 I am. Really. It's fun in my life. It's fun in the podcast. It's fun in everything. But I don't know how people do it. Yeah. I cannot spend the next 10, 15 years of my life working for somebody.
I used to look at our parents and just thank them for being able to do that, because I don't know how they're not tired as yet.
Now, honestly, there are people that can do it. There are people that thrive in these kind of jobs.
Okay. That's true.
Because not everybody can be a CEO. Not everybody can work for themselves. Not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like kudos to the people that can, kudos to the people that want to, but I'm not one of them. I can enjoy it for the sake of what I want to do for myself, but nah, not long term. not like for the next 10, 15, 20 years, bro. Until I retire, until I'm 65 or whatever the retirement age is, nah, I got that.
Okay, have you had any moments where like you've been shocked by, I guess, maybe that response genuinely like took you off guard. You got you got a response that you did not expect.
I don't. It's stupid already, but like it's not. I don't know, it's not like catch me off guard, but my guests say a lot of stuff.
I mean, they speak
my guests say a lot of stuff. So like, you just catch me laughing a lot, not necessarily because what they say is that funny, but it's just because like a lot of things these guests say. I love my guests because a lot of things these guests say, they catch me off guard. Like, bro, the one before the last guest I had, Monty, the man tell me. Like, he was talking serious. He talking serious to me, saying about weight loss and when he was younger, because the guy was like over 350 pounds,
yes.
and he's like under 200 now. So that's like the man lose 100 pounds of weight. The
Which
man's a bodybuilder
amazing
now.
Feat,
Amazing. No matter what you may think about the guy, the guy has guts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not anymore. But yeah, he was talking about weight loss and the struggles he been through and just being an impulsive eater and his relationship with food and that kind of thing. And the man just randomly said, my father used to hide cheese from me. And I'm like, bro, that caught me off guard. That caught me off guard. And in a serious situation, like, bro, like when somebody says something like that in a serious situation, you just have to laugh. Because somebody else I had, it was either Jesus or Anthony, one of them, I think it was Jesus, but he was talking about his father dying and that kind of thing, and he probably said something that caught me off guard in a serious situation.
So that's the point. Serious situation.
Yeah, serious situation and me just laughing, Yeah, but that's what it is.
Okay. So, I mean, 39, 40 episodes in.
About that, yeah.
Is it what you expected it to be?
Not yet. In terms of what?
In the sense of from the behind the scenes of like what you envisioned, right? So behind the scenes of making it happen and then actually being on the podcast, putting yourself out there, seeing the comments, the views, like is it what you wanted it to be? Or what you want it to be?
It's kind of bittersweet. It's kind of bittersweet in a sense because obviously it's not, well, not obviously, but it's not how I wanted it to be in a sense of how quick I wanted it to take off, and just be the biggest, because, the goal is the biggest podcast in the Caribbean, the Caribbean's best and biggest podcast,
Yes.
Obviously, well, it's not getting off the ground as quick as I want it to be, but it's something I started with no knowledge of, no mentor, no nothing. I'm doing everything on my own. I'm taking mentorship from Diary of a CEO that doesn't even know my name, So like I'm trying to learn whatever I can from, people that are doing it already that probably didn't even have the struggles that I'm going through right now, So it's not how I thought it would be in that sense. It's not how I thought it would be when it comes to just operations of this. I didn't know it would have been this hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would have been this hard. It's very hard to just do this, like just be able to, as I say, get people, create the content, make the questions while doing a full-time job, like it's very mentally taxing because I'm constantly thinking, and sometimes you just want to switch off your brain and just not be creative. As a creative, like imagine a creative telling you sometimes you just don't want to be creative because it's a lot, it's very draining. Sometimes I sleep for like 2-3 hours and I should feel rested. I wake up tired because I'm mentally drained all the time, So in terms of being on camera though, in terms of having people on, in terms of learning, in terms of all that though, it is everything I thought it would have been and more. It's probably the best feeling I've had in a while because I feel like I'm fulfilled in a sense. I'm fulfilling a vision that I had of what I thought it would have been. I'm making it happen. The vision I had in my mind before I even started this, like I'm seeing myself in that position. You check it. So, just watching, like sometimes I'm speaking to a guest and I kind of have to be present and watch myself and especially when it's an interview that I'm really enjoying and I'm really into. One of these episodes was Devi. He does, just biology, biomechanics, and all that kind of thing. Like just talking about like genetics and how you could kind of find the precursors to different diseases and that kind of thing, and just being able to be freely curious and just ask all the questions. There's this other episode that I shot with Cheyenne Polius. She's an astrophysicist and just talking about space, talking about black holes, talking about everything to do with astrophysics and all that kind of thing. Just being able to freely ask these questions and have somebody answering and just being genuinely curious and listening to somebody speak is everything that I thought it would be and more. It feels even more fulfilling than I imagined it being. Yeah.
How do you then go about choosing guests? Because what it sounds like is it's your curiosity you feeding.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So how do you go about choosing who gets a seat next to you here?
At the beginning, so we have to kind of backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
So generally, I'm someone that's just genuinely curious in talking to people, understanding people, understanding why they are the way they are. I think that's one of the main reasons why I started the podcast, apart from the curiosity and all that. I just like listening to people and understanding people, just how their mind works and that kind of thing. So initially when the podcast started, it was me having conversations with interesting, successful individuals, interesting, successful individuals. I think that's what it was. So that's what it was, and then it kind of changed into, or evolved, I should say, into me speaking to high achievers. People, not just high achievers, but high achievers that have done stuff in the field, that are able to mentor people that want to be where they are now. That's kind of what it has evolved into. And it's not necessarily a millionaire. It's not necessarily someone that, is successful financially. It's anyone that's successful in any facet of life. So it's the successful mother. It's the successful scholar. It's the priest that got to be a priest. It's the astrophysicist, is the biologist, is the athlete. It's everybody. It's the therapist. It's anybody that wants to get to this higher level in their life. That's what I think this is about. In addition to, feeling that curiosity void in my brain. So that's how I would say people get a seat here. That's the people that have the knowledge, that are willing to share that knowledge to pull people up and get them to the point where they're at now, wherever that may be.
Okay. So I'm curious then, have you ever felt like nobody's listening to you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, even now. That's why I'm so surprised when somebody tell me, "Boy, I saw your podcast."
You're like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, really? You saw your podcast? Yeah, and it's not even like an excitement kind of thing. Like, wow, boy, it's like, really? You saw my podcast? Like, I'm very surprised. There was this time I was walking in town a couple of months back, and a random guy I never met before, just like I was walking and I'm very serious when I'm not there. I'm a very serious face. So this guy was walking in front of me and he was like trying to get my attention. Like he kind of stepped in front of me and he was like, "Yo, I saw your podcast and good job." And he introduced, I can't remember his name, but he introduced himself to me and he's like, like,
shout out
job.
if you're still watching.
Yeah, shout out to you if you're still watching, bro. But that motivated me also. And yeah man, and he told me like, I saw your podcast. I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I saw your podcast. I really enjoyed it. Keep up the good work. And I was like, okay. And I saw like just people like we know, but let's say, college boys that were a couple years below us or a couple years ahead of us. They see me and, they have a couple of lawyers where I work and they see me and they're like, "Yo, I see your podcast, like, good job. Like, I like what you're doing." I'm like, bro, these guys, like, it just makes me feel like people seeing it and I don't feel like people see it sometimes.
So in your mind, no, people will see it. But the truth is, you're actually getting confirmation. But
yeah, I mean, the subscribers growing, I see the views, but it's like, I feel like I have to block it out that people seeing it for like my own
sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My own sanity, because I feel like if I know 20-something thousand people watch my video, I'll get self-conscious.
Imagine 20,000 people in this room just
bro,
standing up there watching us.
1,000 people couldn't fit in this room. I don't think 100 people could fit in this room.
Like 105.
Yeah, in this studio.
Yeah, man.
If they like sardines, if they think like sardines, but yeah, I don't think 100 people can fit in this room. So so I do feel like sometimes, like, again, people don't watch this. Like, obviously, that's a goal for people to watch this.
Yes.
But I don't, and maybe it's also not at the point where I want it to be. So even if I see, let's say I post a reel and it gets like 100 views, I'd be like, nobody watch that. Like, but if you have to put it into perspective, obviously, if 50 people, if 20 people watch your reel, bro, that's 20 people.
That's 20 minds, that's 20 humans.
That's 20 people you influence, 20 people that found it interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you watch there's this metric on Instagram, it shows like the retention. So how much, so if your reel is like a minute, it'll show how much of that minute did the people actually watch before like scrolling.
Okay.
And sometimes person watch like 40 seconds, 45 seconds, sometimes you watch a whole video, some people watch 10 seconds, so you could actually get that metric. And again, like 20 people watch that. If you stand up in front of 20 people, for me, if I stand up publicly off camera in front of 20 people, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people I'm talking in front of. So yeah, I do feel like sometimes people don't watch this, but if I have to take a step back and watch, and it may not seem like a lot, but I'm almost at 200 subscribers.
Dog, that's a lot. I tell you, bro, 200 people is a lot of people.
A lot of people, bro. A lot. I'm almost at 200 subscribers. My most viewed video is 500 and something views. My most viewed reel on Instagram is 20-something thousand. On TikTok is 30-something thousand. So, like, people watching, people actually seeing it. But I do feel like that sometimes.
How do you handle then? You putting yourself out there, because 20,000 people, 30,000 people, who's to say that's the same people? So let's say collectively 50,000 people know who Nurkeever is. They know what he's sounding like. They know what he's interested in. They know what inside the studio. Like, how do you handle exposing yourself like that?
You actually putting that at the front of my mind now, because it's not something.
No.
It's not really something I like to figure out.
How will you handle it?
Exactly. Now I have to figure out how will I handle that. Honestly, anybody that knows me knows I'm not somebody that likes to put myself out there, and I think that's the plight of content creators in general. Like, I find a lot of famous people, not saying I'm famous, but a lot of famous people do like to put themselves out there. It's just that you creating art, and art is obviously for the world to enjoy.
Yeah.
But I don't like to put myself out there. I like to go out. I really like to go to places with a lot of people around me. I feel like I'm surrounded. But I just try to keep my sanity by not thinking about it. I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people have viewed this since you put it into perspective. But I just try not to think about it too much. Because again, if I think about it, I'll probably stop.
We're not stopping.
And we're not stopping. We're not stopping.
Have you, I'm curious about the times that an episode or recording is done and you feel like, damn, this was terrible. And it will never see the light of day. Are there any episodes that just, you never click the upload button on?
The answer is no.
Okay.
I've never not posted a video. And I really I don't even know if I should say this or not. The reason why I've never done it is that at the time where I've wanted to do it, I didn't have an episode to post.
Okay.
So in an attempt to be consistent, I posted the shitty episode.
So that means right now there.
There's one or two.
Now
again, before I said that, it's only my perspective that the episode is.
That is true.
You know,
I'm wondering what would you consider terrible
exactly,
episode?
and
because I may not consider it terrible.
Yeah, and also like I don't even know from what you've watched. Have you seen an episode that you don't really like? Or
I
that's
feel
not
like
up to standard?
for me personally, if it's a case where what the person is talking about is just not my cup of tea, because I mean you cannot be interested in everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider that a terrible episode. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe terrible could be audio issues, like
bro.
quality issues as well, because that's something you can consider terrible.
Nah, it's not even that. Like when you say terrible, like talking about just the conversation itself.
Like you were not stimulated.
Bro, I was not interested.
Ah, okay.
Like and that's the thing, like I would approach somebody because like I say, yeah boy, like I'm interested in that person, but when they start speaking I'm like, nah, like I'm either the chemistry is not really there, or just the topics is like, or they're not answering. Like you ever see you asking somebody the question but they're not answering the question,
like in depth, or like they just dodging it completely?
No, like they not and I really don't want to sound like I'm bad talking my guests right now, but like they you asking them the question but they're not understanding
like
the question.
around it,
They kind of, but it's just the fact that they're not understanding the question, so they're not answering it properly, they're not answering it wholly, you know. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's more that, and the chemistry is off. So I would and again, when I do my episodes, it's almost like I'm doing the episode like 3, 4, 5 times, because I'm recording the episode with you. Then I have to go and edit that episode.
Yes.
So I'm basically seeing this episode again.
Yes.
And then I have to make the content for this episode. So I'm seeing this episode again. So I'm seeing this episode at least 3 times. So imagine how hard it is for me to shoot with you. I'm shooting with you and this is boring to me. Then I still have to go and edit this episode, which is boring again. And I still have to go and create content for that again. And so like that makes it really hard. But no, I haven't not posted. And I feel like I owe it to the guests, even if I don't. I don't think I do.
I don't feel like you do either, to be honest.
I don't think I do. I mean, out of respect.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's disrespectful.
No. I don't think it's something you should take personally.
Yeah, because I feel like I wouldn't take it personally. Like if I go to a shoot and the person messaged me and they're like, honestly, this episode is not up to par or up to the standard that I think my episode should be. So because of that, I don't think I'm going to post it. I'll be like, okay, it may be a waste of time. I feel like it was a waste of my time, but at the end of the day, if you don't feel like it's up to standard,
and then you're the one that's a person that determining the standard. Then
but I've never done that. But honestly, I would
if it's really like just no, like this is not what.
Not even just that.
Is trying to.
Not even just that. Well, yeah, that, but not even just that. Like, if I had like a backlog of episodes where I could afford to do that, but I feel like consistency is more important right now than quality, I guess. Not saying that quality is not important, obviously, but
in that metric.
In that metric, I feel like consistency. I feel like I have made a promise to the consumer to deliver an episode every single week, and that's what I'm going to do. Above everything else, that's what I'm going to do.